Good morning, and we are live. We have an amazing guest that will be joining us later on. He's been working this morning. They've been out voting. They've been out taking care of business. I've got some great news for you. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about a few things before our guest gets here. We're joined by Congressman Don Beyer. He is one of the lions of Congress. Don Beyer is one of my favorite congressmen. He really is. He's one of the smartest people you will ever meet in your life. I can tell you story after story after story of this guy. It is fantastic. He is going to break down the vote that we just had. They pushed through the Obamacare discharge position. It is just a humiliating defeat for Little Johnson, and we're going to dig into all of it when he gets here. But to start with, we're going to talk about what's going on with Trump and this Venezuelan oil attack. There's no other way to put it. So let's just dig into it. Let's go for it. Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I tell you what, mine is kicking this morning. I am so excited. I'm really fired up about today's show. Folks, look, most people get their politics from social media. That's really where it comes from for most people. It just is what it is. Not everybody can have. There's 330 plus million people in this country, and not everybody can have access to the halls of Congress. And I get to meet people, and I get to talk with people. I get to spend evenings with people that most people don't. I am so blessed and lucky to have some of these relationships, and I am telling you, folks. There's a reason that I hold a different sentiment, a different attitude, a different amount of confidence, because people share with me what is actually going on. The government is not run on social media, folks. It's not. More often than not, on social media, what you get is somebody that's expressing their emotions, or somebody that's not really involved in politics, somebody that's not, and they're just either trying to either get attention for clicks or trying to just vent. More often than not is what you get on social media. To be able to actually be privy to what's going on and the way things are moving, it's an incredible privilege. It really is. It also allows me to speak out on a lot of things in ways that most people won't. It is what it is, folks. When you know, you know. Pamela K, right out of the box, huge support. Thank you, Pamela. I'm super grateful. I am super grateful. This just happened, if you don't know, and I can't wait to talk to Congressman Beyer about that. This is why he's not here for the beginning of the show. He's going to join us a little bit later because he's been working this morning. He's been doing his job. This is what just happened. Democrats forced through a discharge petition. They had a few Republicans break ranks that are just absolutely petrified, absolutely terrified of what's going on in the country right now. They broke ranks with Mike Little Johnson. Mike Little Johnson's donors told him, no Obamacare subsidies. We're not going to do that, period. He announced last week he didn't care politically what it cost. That, let the chips fall where they may. We're not holding a vote on this. Doesn't matter that it was publicly reported that they had the votes. This is actually going to pass, folks. This is going to pass. It's not just the discharge. For if you don't know what a discharge position is, if the speaker will not bring a bill to the floor, the members can get together and vote on a discharge position to actually vote for the bill to be brought to the floor. They can do that. And they did. They absolutely just did that. And we are now going to get a vote on Obamacare subsidies. And it's directly a result of the work of, Democrats leadership. You got to give leadership credit where credit is due. Hakeem Jeffries got out there and got it done. And you've got congressmen like Congressman Byers is out there. That's why, again, why he's running a little late today. He is 100%, doing his job. He's going to be here, and I can't wait to talk to him about it. I just really can't wait to talk to him about it. 1 second. All right. So yeah, we've got that incredible good news that's just happened, and I will tell you why. We've talked about this before. Trump is in all kinds of trouble. I mean, in every front. I mean, he is a lame duck president. He is having mental issues. He's having health issues. He's incredibly weak right now. It's just one blow after another, and he keeps doing incredibly dumb things. Incredibly dumb things. We talk about, Republicans get all excited when Trump sues somebody. When Trump files a lawsuit against somebody, like he's being tough. More often than not, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. Because we talk about this all the time. You file a defamation suit, if they don't just outright settle it, it goes to discovery. And this has just been a nightmare for Donald Trump. Trump sued the Pulitzer Committee because he didn't like the Russiagate articles. So the Pulitzer Committee did an investigation of the articles and confirmed them. So they were very confident. They were very comfortable. They went absolutely 100% went to court. Said, fine, sue us. We can do this. We brought the receipts. Trump desperately wanted them to rescind their Pulitzer prizes. No, not a new hat, just new lighting. We're picking up some new lighting. Got some softer lighting here. It's going to even look even better. I told you that your support, we invest back in the show. We've got new camera coming up, improved camera. So while this camera that we use now doesn't perform quite as well in low lighting, this newer camera that's going to, in about 2 shows, is going to look a lot better. It's going to brighten this room up a little bit. Get a little bokeh in the background, a little bit of a blurred background. It's going to look sharp. It's really going to look sharp. We've been investing in the show. And yeah, I agree with you. I need a black Stetson. I do. I really do. My black hat is old, very old, very old. But back to what we were talking about here. In discovery, Trump, again, when you sue for defamation, you have to prove that what they're saying is false. And it's a little complicated. It's a little more complicated than that. But basically, you have to prove that they have made false allegations towards you. Part of what he brought up in this discovery, because his lawyers are idiots, he mentioned his taxes. So part of their discovery demands are his tax records. I mean, the Pulitzer Committee has gone to town on this. They have just said, okay, it's on. It is on. 100%. It is on. And his medical records. I mean, I just don't know how much dumber Trump could be. I mean, it's one thing to run your mouth and say, oh, well, I'm going to sue and this, that, like he always does. But to let it progress to the point where we've now hit discovery. We've got demands for your medical records. We've got demands for your tax records. They're going to demand communications. To let it go this far, now Trump is in the situation where he is going to have to turn tail. He's going to have to tuck tail and run in a humiliating defeat. I'm telling you, folks, these are not bright people. These are not strong people. These are not people that we've got this. I keep telling people, we've got this. This is not something that yes, they're going to do damage. Yes, they're going to cause problems. But they're so incompetent and ham-handed and stupid. We've got this. We really do, folks. Donna Bell says, looking very dapper this morning, Texas Paul. Hey, and I appreciate that, Donna. I appreciate it. I really do. I figured I'd dress up for the congressman, especially since I look so scruffy. Y'all know I'm growing a beard for my granddaughter for Christmas. That just looks terrible right now. It really does. So I figured I'd try to clean up a little bit for the congressman. ET, plus the different suit looks great. The Xmas stuff looks festival as well. Happy holidays, everyone. Take the time to get involved after the first. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is going to be a great election season. It is going to be a great election season. Yeah, there's not going to be a settlement in that case. He's the plaintiff. Trump's the plaintiff in that case. Nobody's going to settle. He's going to have to literally turn tail and run in a public humiliation because he cannot turn his taxes over, because he cannot turn his health records over. He is so screwed in that situation. And I'll tell you, this is one of the main drivers of why Republicans are absolutely in full freak out mode about these Obamacare subsidies. This just happened, folks. This happened yesterday. This is Gary Clemens. I'm sure nobody knows who Gary Clemens is. Unless you live in Kentucky's 37th Senate District, you probably have no idea who Gary Clemens is. Gary Clemens is a good guy. He is a former Steelworkers Union president. He is the kind of guy that you want in government. He really is. And he cleaned house in a special election yesterday in Kentucky's 37th Senate District. I mean, clean house. Now, folks, this is going to be one of those situations where your drunk uncle is talking about, well, the Democrats always win this district, and he was expected to win. I don't know what you're celebrating about. Yeah, Republicans know what we're celebrating about. This is not a 73-25 district. It is not. And you'll see this as precincts reporting less than 1%. Those numbers maintained throughout the night. They did. It was a 73-25 victory. Just absolutely cleaned house. It wasn't even mildly close. Why are Republicans in full freak out about this? Well, yeah, we were expected to win this seat, no doubt. This is a strong Democratic district. Skeet said the pendulum is not swinging, it's broken. I got to tell you, this is 2024 in that district. David Yates stepped down. That's why we had a special election. He got another job and he moved on. That's why we had a special election. He won his election in 2024, 60-40. 20 points is still a good victory. It is. 21 points is still a good victory. It's solid. But it's not 42-43 points. which is what we had yesterday. I mean, these numbers that are coming in off these, and folks, this is not this is an not an off year election. This is not an off year election. This is a special election. Democrats don't show up as a whole. We don't show up to these elections. We just don't. It's not what we do. Folks, this is huge, and Republicans know it. They are in full freak out mode over the things that are going on in this country. I do not know how to pronounce that. Fawn Edelane is what I'm going to go with. 8824. Thank you. I appreciate you being here, Fawn. I appreciate it. You're going to have to tell me how to put that in the comments. Tell me how to pronounce that. By the way, folks, with the congressman being here, we're going to have questions popping up in the chat. We're going to have parallel conversations going in the chat. If you're watching this in replay, you've got to open up that chat panel. You really do. This is a community show. It is fantastic. It is fantastic what the comments that are going out there. They're usually parallel conversations, or they're ahead of the conversation in chat, or bringing in additional information. So pretty please, if you're watching the show on replay, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell so that you can catch us live, be part of that chat community. But in the lower right-hand corner, there's a button that says panel. Hit that button and open up the chat panel so that you can see what's going on. Fawnetta Lane, there you go. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Ollie, 1976, we're going to show up every time. Rock on, Dems, Eric. George Allen, dapper today, Paul. Hell yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. Mrs. Texas Paul picked this jacket out for me. I'm very conservative about what I buy. I would have never bought this for myself, and she just jumped all over it. But it's just the way it is, just the way it rolls here. But yeah, it's not just the Kentucky race, which is amazing. Because, folks, Harris won that district by 6 points. 6. Last night's election was, what, 42 points? 43 points? This is blowing Republicans' minds. They really thought, oh, Trump's going to be elected. We've got both houses of Congress. Man, we're going to rock this world. They are in full freak out mode. And it is filtering down to every single race. I'm talking about school boards are flipping blue. I'm talking, sheriffs that never had, Republicans never had to spend a dime on these sheriff's races, are now having to fully fund these things. It is blowing the Republican establishment apart. ET, when you capitulate and don't listen to your constituents, people start to get PO'd, add everything else as well, getting out and doing the job. Amen. There's so much more, because we've talked about this before. We talked about this in the last show. The Trump regime is, folks, they are 100% incompetent. They're incompetent. We're going to talk about what's going on in Venezuela, and that is just going to blow your freaking mind, the box that they've backed themselves into. It is just insane. Marsha Klepper, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. I really do. I hate this stage of growing my beard. I think it just looks terrible. But anyways, granddaughter wants a white beard for Christmas. We're going to do everything we can do to try to get it done. We're going to do everything we can to try to get it done. But yeah, this just happened. We had a new Siena poll, and Siena tends to favor lean Republican quite a bit. So for this to be what they're rocking, yeah, this is not looking good. You're talking about Kathy Hochul has 19-point lead in a Siena poll. Elise Stefanik really thought Man, I tell you what, she just saw her whole future mapped out. As soon as Donald Trump got elected, oh man, all that sycophant bullshit that she did, all that water she carried, all the humiliation, all the stupid shit she said, man, that was really going to pay. She was going to run for governor of New York. She was going to become the governor of New York. Man, this woman one day thought that she was going to be president of the United States, and she is getting rolled in New York. Absolutely rolled in New York. And she's not the only one that sees it, folks. She really is not the only one that sees it. Everybody knows where this is headed. This is not stuff that's easy to turn around. I mean, you know that old adage, it's the economy, stupid. That is true. That is 100% true. And folks, what's going on with our economy is not something that is just easy to turn around. It is a hard fix. Meanwhile, you've got things like Donald Trump openly and blatantly enriching himself and his family. You had this just happened, and I've got to say the corporate media is just failing us again. They're missing this completely. Moonstone, thank you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the support. I really do. This just happened, and the corporate media, I don't know if it's just they just want to sound bites all the time. They don't want to try to explain things. If they think people, people, when you give them information, they get it. They get it. They understand. All over social media, this is being celebrated as a win. This is being celebrated as a win. People are just giddy. Jared Kushner had to pull out of Paramount's hostile bid for Warner Brothers. If you don't know what's been going on, Netflix has been moving to buy Warner Brothers. Well, Paramount said, we'll see about that. And here you have Jared Kushner and his company leading an armada of investors to support Paramount in a hostile takeover because Paramount said, no, we want Warner Brothers. We want it. Well, Kushner pulls out. His company, Affinity Partners, pulls out. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, they lost. Yay. Woo. They didn't lose. They didn't. If you remember, all of Jared Kushner's money, his big money, comes from sovereign wealth funds. Billions of dollars of money that just handed over to Kushner to invest and to manage. Well, those wealth funds didn't back out of the deal. Only Kushner did. Only Affinity Partners. Right now, the wealth funds from Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and Qatar, they're still back at Paramount. And with Kushner off the table and out of the way, the Trump administration can now submarine the deal. They can now submarine Netflix, who thinks Netflix think they think they're spiking the ball. They're thinking this is done. We got this. Oh no. Oh no. This is never going to get government approval. Never. Trump is going to absolutely hold this up and hold this up and hold this up and hold this up and prevent Netflix from taking over until Paramount gets its way. Because Trump is also indebted to Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi and Qatar. Free playing, anybody? And with Kushner out of the way, you don't have that obvious, oh, Trump's just enriching himself thing. He's going to make an argument. And here's the thing. This is the part that just makes it so frustrating. As you know me, I'm a hyper-partisan Democrat. I am. I wear it on my sleeve. I don't hide it. One of the most frustrating things is the argument that the Trump regime is going to be making about this in submarining Netflix's takeover is actually a valid one. Netflix has massive market share. And if Netflix is allowed to take over Warner, they're going to be, the word monopoly is being batted around. They're going to have such control over the streaming market that, you're talking about your bills skyrocketing. You're talking about companies being, bought out again in the future because they're being forced. This has long-term effects, folks. It really does. And it just frustrates the shit out of me that, yeah, Netflix buying out Warner, that's not a good thing. It's not. So we're going to be in that situation where you're going to have Trump fighting something that any other government actually should resist. But he's doing it to line his pockets. He's helping his bros out. He's going to make his buddies a boatload of money over this. And that's the part that just blows my mind. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt. No doubt. Gojo11207 says Netflix creates good content. Absolutely, they do. 100%. They have earned their place. I love Netflix. I'm not dissing Netflix here. I'm just talking about the economic reality of Netflix owning Warner. They are a juggernaut. They earn their way there, but they are a juggernaut in the streaming community. Them taking over Warner really, that's a lot. That is a lot. Mike Daly to them says, enjoying the show, coffee and a trunk mug and Tim victories. Amen. 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 So yeah, again, I've said this before, and I'm not just kissing your butt. The work that you're doing, getting out there on social media, volunteering for the campaigns, getting involved with the Democratic Party and local levels, that's what makes this, that is what's keeping this momentum going. Sure, there's a lot of realities out there that are making Democrats popular. But moving that opportunity and making the rubber meet the road and making it actually happen, that's all you. That is all you. That's what a democracy is, man. If you don't, there's opportunity, but if you don't have the people that are involved, that are doing what you're doing, it's worthless. It's meaningless. It's uncapitalized opportunity. Chandra Patton says, morning, Texas, Paul, coffee in hand. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Glad you're here. Glad you are here. But yeah, that's not all that's happened that is blowing back in Trump's face. Y'all remember Tina Peters? Y'all remember Tina Peters from Colorado? We've talked about her multiple times back in the election. She was one of the client deniers. She's been convicted. She's doing 9 years for multiple felony charges. And Trump has threatened Colorado, is freaking out because his criminal is being held to account. And Trump is desperately afraid of that concept. People actually being held to account for what they do wrong is something that Trump is 100% in full freak out mode about, because he knows he's about to be out of office. He is about to be out of office. He's about to be out of power, and he is going to be held to account for the things that he's done. And he is, again, desperately trying to set a precedent where nobody gets held to account. He's going so far as to threaten the Colorado governor that he's going to take actions against the state if they don't, if that governor doesn't issue a pardon to Tina Peters and release her from prison. And Colorado governor, who I absolutely adore, I really do. I love this guy. Just threw up the middle finger and said, no, the law is the law. She committed the crime. She can do the time. Stoneflower Dragon, glad to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. It's good to see you. Dragon sickness is a thing. 100 million and plus is excessive, sick, and deranged. I hear you. Well, this just happened. This is a double whammy. This is both pandering to the oligarchs that fund their campaigns, and also a dig on Colorado. Trump is going to start removing federal funds from the state of Colorado one piece at a time, because the governor of Colorado did not acquiesce to his bullying. And for those of you that don't remember, this is the governor of Colorado. I really like this guy. I really do. This is Jared Polis. One second. Jared Polis has a future in national politics, not just state politics. This is Jared Polis. Oh, wrong. Sorry, wrong. We're going to talk about that too. This is Jared Polis. This is the governor of Colorado. This is the governor that absolutely will not acquiesce to what Trump's doing. So Trump is now going to try to methodically dismantle federal funding from Colorado to try to cause hard economic times in Colorado for political reasons. That should be a crime. That really should be a crime. I mean, this is just gross. This is just willfully hurting Americans. Willfully, I mean, not to mention, this is before you get into climate change and the work that they're doing there. It's just willfully hurting Americans for your own crooked political desires. We are not the same people. We are not the same people. We just aren't. We are very, very, very different people. And yeah, it is extortion. It is. It really is. It's just flat out extortion. It really is. And we can't do it. These people so flagrantly broke the law that if we don't pursue these charges, if we don't hold them to account, there is no law. There just is no law. Mr. Pilks, the sickening comments he made after Rob Reiner was murdered were disgusting. Yeah, you know what? I intentionally elected not to even bring it up. I did. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm glad you made the comment, but I just wasn't. It was just what he said about Rob Reiner was gross. It was just gross. But folks, I want to move on. Congressman Beyer has joined us. I just want to take a moment to celebrate with him. I am so excited about this discharge position. Let me bring him in. Congressman Beyer, thank you for being here, sir, and congratulations on that vote this morning. And I'm so glad that you were. When Izzy told me that you were going to be late because you were down there voting, I had no idea this discharge position was coming. This is huge. I am so excited.
It's a big win in Texas, Paul. You know, we that whole shutdown was just about fighting for affordable health insurance for the American people, because the enhanced tax credits for the Affordable Care Act are about to go away. And we've seen bills, I mean, all over, people $300 a month, $600 a month, $2,000 a month increases. It's just going to be unbelievable. And there's some of the very vulnerable Republicans who are trying to work a compromise. It was a terrible compromise. It was still going to make a lot of costs go up. It was going to cut coverage for people. And we just needed 4 Republicans to sign on to our discharge petition. And, you know, most times you get one discharge petition successful every 10 years. I think we've had 6 in the last month.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is very weak. The Republicans are beginning to abandon him. They know he is not their future.
Yeah, I heard Mike Lawler was having a stroke in their caucus meeting yesterday. He was you could hear him in the hallway screaming. These vulnerable Republicans are looking at these polls, and it is just I mean, you would have to be completely insane not to jump ship from this administration. Just the agendas that they're pushing are absolutely ridiculous. And I honestly, I don't know why it's taken this long. I guess they just had to see the polls coming out. Like the win last night in Kentucky was huge. But yeah, I don't get it.
Georgia last week, and when Abigail Spanberger won Virginia, that was the biggest Democratic margin since 1961 in Virginia.
Yeah. And folks, this is one of the things that I see kind of a challenge. I say it over and over again, government's not run on social media. It's not. But the Republicans have really figured out that, you can get out there and you can just run your mouth on social media and say whatever they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Meanwhile, Democrats, you're working. You're doing the job. You're pushing legislation. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, while Republicans aren't doing anything. Like I said, we've had so many discharge petitions because the Republicans don't want to work. They don't want to do the job. So what I've been trying to do, Congressman, is I've been trying to sit down with folks like you and say, look, this is what they're doing.
Texas Paul,
this is what they're doing.
Thank you for getting the word out. I really appreciate it. You have a big audience, and that's really important. As you pointed out, during that 7-week shutdown, their vacation, I came to work, my team came to work every single day, trying to figure out how to fashion good legislation, good appropriations that help the affordability crisis that Americans are facing.
Yeah. 100%. That is why they are absolutely jumping ship. They are, because the cost of electricity is going through the roof. The cost of groceries are going through the roof. These tariffs are absolutely choking our economy. The job numbers that we just had come out are horrible. Could you imagine this? You must be so frustrated with this. The difference in the bar between a Republican and a Democrat is insane. Could you imagine for 1 second if this had been a Democratic administration and we'd had these numbers come out, 4.6% unemployment?
Texas, Paul, that's not only the highest since COVID, it's higher than any number we had in the whole last decade. Right now, last year under Joe Biden, we grew the economy 168,000 jobs every month. That was the average. This year, 17,000 jobs. 1/10, so 90% decline. In the meantime, for all my African-American friends, the Black unemployment rate in America today is 8%. They're just getting hammered, and it's just not fair.
It's not. And I know, look, I got to watch your amazing speech at the Kennedy King dinner. I'm highly privileged. I've got friends in the unions. I've got friends in there. I get to sit and listen to you folks. I know what you're doing. I can see my congressman, Julie Johnson, since they've done the redistricting here. Julie Johnson, now I love her to death. She has a bill that she's working her butt off to streamline the healthcare apprenticeship program so that we can fill some of these positions that we're so desperate. On the other side of the aisle, you've got Trump and the Trump regime. They just caught 35,000 predominantly healthcare jobs out of the VA. We are not the same.
No, it's not the same at all. And by the way, Julie's got a primary, and I think everybody up here is going to be supporting her. We're glad to have her.
Yeah, I love Julie Johnson. She's one of the, I want to say thank you, Congressman Beyer. I really do. I call you one of the lions of Congress because you take these your job is not easy. And I'm not kissing your butt here. I'm not kissing you. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not kissing your butt here. Your job's not easy. When someone comes in, they're inexperienced, they don't know what they're doing. They may have some history. For instance, James Walkinshaw, brilliant guy. You have taken him under your wing and shown him the ropes, and he has grown into one of the smartest, most effective congressmen there is on the Hill. And you do that. You take these young congressmen that are coming in, you impart unto them, not only your governmental experience. You're hugely successful as a businessman. I mean, it's priceless. It is priceless what you do. And folks out there that think that government is run on social media, they don't understand. And I just wanted to take a second to say thank you for the things that you do. I truly appreciate it.
You're very kind, and you give me way too much credit, because nobody gets here without being special in their own way. And all I try to contribute to it is a sense of, community, of family, that we're all working on this together. And I'm just so grateful when people like Julie or James Waukesha show up. And I learn as much from them, I sure are more than they learn from me. We're lucky.
Yeah, but you're being humble. You really are being humble. You are. And I appreciate you. I really do. I just want people to know that, because that's our biggest challenge right now is you've got people that rightfully so are afraid. They're nervous. They're scared. They're getting crushed at the grocery store. Beef. I hate to tell you folks, I mean, and Congressman Beyer, this is a little bit of a different show. The people that are in the show are in our audience are highly intelligent. They're professionals. We've got a global audience. These are people that understand the complex situations. So we tend to talk about things in a more complex way. Yeah. So, I mean, they get why they're getting crushed. They do. Having you do the things that you do the way that you do them. Not everybody, for instance, Republicans on one side of the aisle, they took a look at AI and they said, oh, well, our donors will hand us a bill here in a minute. We're good. You went back to George Mason University, got a computer science degree, and I'm tongue-tied here, focused on AI and machine learning, because you knew you were going to have to write bills regarding AI. One hand, we've got the Trump regime that has just come out with this ridiculous executive order trying to crush states. And then on the other side of the aisle, we've got Congressman Beyer, who does the work.
And Texas Paul, I'm leading the fight against that stupid executive order. The whole notion that our state governments are the laboratories of democracy. And when the federal government has done virtually nothing to rein in AI, just do sensible guidelines for something that's going to be so important. Lots of good stuff, healthcare and the like, lots of dangerous stuff too, job elimination, maybe existential risks. Well, we've got to make sure that AI is appropriately regulated. And if the federal government won't do anything, it's not right to tell Austin, Texas, or Richmond, Virginia, or Sacramento, California, you can't do anything either. So we're going to push back as hard as we can.
And I truly appreciate it. I mean, because it's one thing to have somebody we've got leadership. We do. We've got leadership that keeps our ships sailing in the same direction, and not everybody has to be an expert on every subject. We just have to have people like you that are willing to commit and do the work to actually know what part of the expression, we cuss on the show too. I'm sorry. What the fuck you're doing? You know what I mean? To really get it done. And what kills me is, I'll see somebody on social media, and again, they're political neophytes. They're outside the game. They don't know how things work. They don't know, they don't know how the sausage is made, but they do have a lot of feelings about it that will say things that are just out there, And I just want so badly to introduce people to folks like you. I do. I just really want more and more people, because the Republicans have figured it out. They have. They figured out that your average American, they've got a job, they've got things to do, they've got, you know what I mean? They don't have time to follow what you do for a living professionally, the ins and outs of it. So they can just say whatever the hell they want to say. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. You know what I mean?
Well, Texas,
but when you hold it up,
is you don't talk down to your friends, your audience. You treat people with respect. You understand that people are smart enough to understand the complex issues that we're facing. So let's tell them the truth. Let's talk about artificial intelligence and the upsides and the downsides. Let's talk about the energy crisis we're in, where electricity rates are up 13% this year, despite all the stuff that Donald Trump has done. Let's talk about how difficult affordability is. We don't want prices to go down. That's deflation. That's bad for everybody. We just don't want them to go up anymore. And these tariffs, which average in 15 to 16%, are going to drive them up a lot more in the months to come.
And the Republicans will take a comment like that and make a soundbite out of it. And they'll talk to people that don't understand economics. They don't understand deflation. They don't understand that once these prices go up, if they fall significantly, the damage that does to our economy. But I guarantee you, the folks in this audience, they get it. They know what deflation is. They know that once we've, pardon my expression, eaten this shit burger at the grocery store that the Trump administration has foisted on us with ridiculous trade wars. They understand, okay, now we have to deal with it. We have to wait for the rest of the economy to catch up, to ease that pressure. And if we have deflation, then we're talking about an economy that's just absolutely crashing and on top of the mess that the Trump regime is already creating.
Yeah. And when I won't go all the economics of deflation, but you just think Japan through its long lag period, you need, which is why the Federal Reserve targets 2% inflation. And after what we've been through, 0% would be just fine for a couple of years, and then maybe get back to 2%. It helps you. You like to know that your house is getting a little more valuable every year as you pay down your mortgage, right?
Right, exactly. Congressman, I know you're very busy, and I super appreciate you can have as much time as you want. But I wanted to see if I could get your thoughts on this one thing, because I know your time is very valuable. The Trump regime is doing this, and most people don't understand the why behind it. Okay, Trump announces a complete blockade of sanctioned oil tankers in Venezuela. Apart from it being completely illegal, it is expressing their desperation. Most people, again, don't understand this. This is going on. Oil prices have been plummeting. They have for the longest time. The oil prices have just been falling and falling and falling and falling. Our audience understands this because we discuss floors. We've talked about this in depth before. Different regions have different floors where oil prices can fall to. North Sea oil prolonged in the low 50s to upper 40s kills production.
Yep.
It kills production. It's in the low 40s here in West Texas. They can sustain low 40s in Saudi Arabia. They're using incredibly cheap Chinese labor in their oil fields. Different regions have different floors. We've talked about that before, but production is being cut back. It is. And we're seeing these numbers over and over and over again. We've also talked about how this affects your electric bill, because a huge amount of the natural gas we get is a side product of oil production. No oil production, less natural gas. Natural gas has already been spiking. That is your electric bill, folks. That is the AI-driven economy getting shot in the butt, because it lives and dies off the price of electricity. So it's complex. It's one point to the next point to the next point to the next point. Now we have the Trump administration that's figured out oil production is plummeting. We got to do something. So, hey, let's get a twofer. We'll try to force regime change into Venezuela. We'll cut off their oil production, driving oil prices back up. Meanwhile, MAGA, who lives off social media, and the bots, again, we're talking about the foreign bots that come into our social media and have infected our social media platforms, are saying, oh, Trump's lowering your gas prices, when we're actually talking about the seasonal change in gas prices that happen every year. They think that they're lowering prices, but really he is trying desperately to get oil prices back up, to keep production back up so that natural gas production will go back up. In the middle of an economy that's already choking, they're being forced to raise energy prices to try to long-term. It's complicated.
But this is one reason, Texas Paul, why Trump and their big ugly bill tried to get rid of and has gotten rid of a lot of the incentives for wind power and solar power. They were the fastest growing parts of our energy mix. They were the least expensive, but every time you open a new solar power plant or you do more offshore or onshore wind, you make oil and gas less competitive, and they just can't stand that. And so you're absolutely right. Venezuela is not about drugs. And look, we know the huge drug crisis in our country is fentanyl. That does not come from Venezuela. It doesn't come from Colombia. And they're not focusing on that at all. Instead, they're using the pretext of cocaine, and that's bad. We don't like that. But they're using that with no evidence to sink these ships and kill these people. And this afternoon, Texas Paul, we've got on a vote on a war powers resolution, the authorization to use military force. And if it passes, it will say Donald Trump cannot invade Venezuela without the permission of the U.S. Congress and the U.S. people.
And forgive me for going so long there. I just, try to connect the dots for the audience so that they understand why. Not just say, hey, Trump is really trying to raise oil prices. The why behind it. These folks get it. They do. They understand.
He promised them if they gave him all $1 million each, he was going to make this the golden age of oil and gas. And he's doing his best to make that happen. I just saw this morning, the Washington State has a law that their coal-powered power plants have to shut down by the end of this year, I believe. And they just issued an executive order from the Department of Energy saying there's a crisis, you can't shut the power plant down, the coal plants down. So you have state law running into Department of Energy mandate. The wrong thing.
Yeah, and I mean, how frustrating does that for you, knowing? I mean, people, again, our audience, people out there in the world, they're not privy to the machinations of this. You are. You get reports from the Department of Energy. You know the shortfalls we're going to have in electricity production. To turn around and have the Trump regime do everything they've done about, I don't know, is it politics? Because it can't be the oil industry asking them to crush green energy, because it's stupid. The numbers the math doesn't math.
Well, it's hard to know overall, except we do remember that during the campaign, Trump's promises at Mar-a-Lago to all the oil and gas industry executives, that he would do whatever he could to make sure that they were making a lot more money. In the meantime, the tariffs are making everything harder for everybody and pushing up all the other prices out there. Trump is getting very weak. We have a very weak speaker right now. Discharge petitions, which are these funky little things, they're thriving everywhere because the Republicans are abandoning Trump. We're only 44 weeks away now, I think, Texas Paul, from the midterm elections. And that's when we really, in the most major way, begin to take back our country.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to land this plane, is the midterms, because you've got you talk about the tariffs, and I know we're short on time, and I apologize. I'll leave this to your last comment. I do. UK tariffs used to be 2.4 versus 2.2%. That was a minor negotiation that needed to happen. Now they're 15 versus 15%. That 15% is choking.
50% some places. India, Brazil, 5-0. Half of 100%. Texas Paul, a long time ago, right after World War II, we got the Bretton Woods Agreement. We liberalized international trade, which means we got the tariffs way, way down. And this led to the longest sustained period of economic growth in the history of humankind. We have lifted billions of people out of poverty. We have middle classes everywhere around the world. And now we're going to go in and just turn that back to pre-World War II, to Great Depression era type tariffs. It's really foolish.
That's why we have to stay active. We can't let anything, no division, no nothing, none of the BS that comes through on social media that they talk about, no matter what happens. You know what, audience, do me a favor, show them how ride or die you are. I founded a movement called the Ride or Die Democrats. What it is, hey, you want to fight it out in the primaries? Your guy wins, I'll walk in the booth and vote for you. And my guy wins, you got to vow to do the same. And we use hearts and skulls to identify ourselves on social media. Let's see the hearts and skulls so he knows that he's got the support coming into the midterms. We're going to keep this momentum going. And Congressman Beyer, I couldn't be more grateful for your time. I know you are so busy with these votes.
Thank you so much. I'm off to the House floor. I have 30 seconds to tell all the other members of the Congress why they should vote for this very good bill to extend the tax credits for health insurance.
Anything that you have, any agenda, whatever, email me. If you want to come on and talk about it, you have an open invitation. I appreciate all you do, sir.
Thank you. And thank you for getting the word out to so many good people. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Congressman Beyer, folks. Congressman Beyer. I'm telling you, we have hundreds of members of Congress. We have folks that are working behind the scenes for you that are getting it done. That are, they're making the sausage, folks. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch these deals being made. It's not. It isn't a one-liner on the news or anything like that. But to have intelligent people like that really know what the hell they're talking about and what they're doing, representing you and your interests, is everything, folks. That's the whole point of democracy. It is the whole point of democracy. And we have leaders like Congressman Beyer doing the work day in and day out. I get it. I get it. There's a lot of people out there. Well, we need young folks. We do. But when those young folks hit Congress, they've got to have these lions of the Senate, lions of the House, lions of Congress to sit there and show them how it's done. They do. That young energy is fantastic. It will represent the newer generation. It will be infused. But the making the sausage, the day-to-day getting it done, the actual activity of running our government is a skill. And it's folks like Congressman Beyer that know how to do it. And they're priceless. They're priceless. They just are. I couldn't be more grateful. I mean, do you get now why I'm more confident? People ask me all the time, why are you so confident? Why are you so confident? Because I know these people. I get to know these people. That's why. I mean, I'm not just on social media. I'm not. And I get it. Your average person can't. You've got lives, you've got jobs, you've got families, you've got things. You're not supposed to have to try to run our government. You're not supposed to have to. That's why we elect leaders to do this. So that's my mission. That is my mission. I'm going to get more and more congressmen to come here, and I promise I won't talk so much next time. But I just more and more congressmen to come out, and I want to show people firsthand, hey, look, this guy, he's not all over social media. He's not out there, but this is what he's doing, or this is what she's doing on your behalf, making it happen. And yeah, this is exactly why. This is exactly why it's so important. We have the opportunity of a lifetime. We do. We have the opportunity of a lifetime. And you know what? Jasmine Crockett has an open invitation. She does. I will continue to reach out to her folks and try to get her on the show. I will. I would love to hear what she has to say. I would. But folks, this is the kind of thing that we're dealing with. And I wish it was good news. I do. I wish it was good news. I just want to recap what we just talked about oil prices with the congressman. Yeah. The energy industry, and I'm talking about the segment of the industry that sells you your electricity, is in full freakout mode. They're in full freakout mode. They're not digging this because these price increases aren't just about money. Ooh, man, we're making more money. It's not. The cost of natural gas. Man, y'all remember a guy by the name of T. Boone Pickens? Y'all remember seeing his commercial all over the television? Pushing natural gas, man. Natural gas is the answer for everything. We don't need electric cars. We should have cars running on natural gas. Natural gas power plants are the answer to everything. Well, T. Boone Pickens had no clue what a digital economy looked like. None whatsoever. And all of that money he dumped to push us into a fossil fuel electric supply system is directly responsible. That entire movement is directly responsible for what's been happening. But what did you hear out of Republicans? Oh, green energy is going to bankrupt us, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not. It's picking up the slack. It is picking up the slack. And I just want to remind people, a huge portion of our natural gas doesn't come from just natural gas wells. It is siphoned off from oil wells during oil production. And when stuff like this happens, when stuff like this happens, it's like, by the way, follow Stephen Ratner. He's not a Democrat in any way, shape, or form, but he's really fantastic about putting information out like this. I'm not one of those people that are all, just pay attention to me. No, I like to give you good sources of information. Follow Stephen Ratner on Threads. His numbers are usually spot on. They are. If you look at this chart, the unemployment rate in 2021, it was COVID. COVID was driving. There was a global pandemic and supply chain shutdown. That's what drove that. As soon as Joe Biden got the vaccines out, we could open, businesses back up. Everything started to pick back up. And we went back onto that growth, that pattern of growth that we saw during the Obama administration. What happens? Trump comes in with his bright idea of shoving tax burdens from Johnny Got Rocks onto you. That was his goal. That's what the tariffs were all about. We're going to create a stealth sales tax where you want that government healthcare, you're going to pay for it. Not us rich people, you're going to pay for it. And that's what the tariffs is all about. And he created a recession. I mean, anybody with just, a freshman economy class understood that this was going to happen. Leading to this, unemployment is spiking. The economy is choking. In October, we lost over 100,000 jobs. In November, we only created 64,000. Remember, the magic numbers, around 200,000 to keep up. We're hemorrhaging jobs. And it's a direct line. Trump's tariffs choke the economy. We lose jobs, which further chokes the economy. Don't need oil and gas when the economy's choking, but we've been producing oil and gas like crazy. So now we're flush. We're swimming in it. There are oil tankers out of every major port just sitting there full of oil because they don't want to dump it into the inventory. So what do oil and gas companies do? They cut production. When they cut production, that spikes natural gas prices. Because they fought us on the green economy, solar, wind, hydroelectric, everywhere we could build renewables, because they fought us on that, we're deeply reliant on natural gas now. Add on top of it, the AI revolution. We're suddenly needing twice the energy that we did before. But we're not producing the natural gas to support it. Electric bills spike, further choking the economy, making the production of everything more expensive, further choking the economy. The economy feeds into low oil prices. You see in the cycle that we've broken into? And the Trump regime, these are not smart people. These are not gifted people. Skeet's there. You know what is sad about the truth about oil? The gas in our vehicles is only 18% of a barrel. The rest makes what we use for tires, to everything from tires to plastic. Yep, we talk about chemical feedstocks and the need. This is why I break with the activists in our party so many times. The oil industry is not the devil. The screen you're looking at? You don't get that without the oil industry. A huge percentage of every barrel of oil has nothing to do with climate change or being burned in cars or being used to produce electricity. None of that. It's manufacturing feedstocks. Carl Rossi, Trump reminds me of Humpty Dumpty. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Make me happy. Thanks, Paul. Oh, man. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But it's a problem. It is a problem that we have such poor leadership. Your drunk uncle forcing the Trump regime on us over stupidity and bigotry and all of that. It's a problem. It is a problem. These are complex issues that require smart people. And man, Little Johnson is not it. Little Johnson is not it. He had to be forced, knowing that his party is getting soaked at the polls, knowing that he was not going to keep his coalition together, walked to a microphone and announced there would be no vote on Obamacare subsidies, knowing full well, I realized the guy, every time a microphone gets put in his face, the guy said, "Oh, I hadn't heard about that. I don't know about that." The guy apparently doesn't know about anything, but he knows. He knows food prices are skyrocketing. He knows that your electric bills are skyrocketing. And he knows what that means electorally. But he didn't give a shit. So members of his own party his party's fracturing. His party is fracturing. But again, he didn't care. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why doesn't he care? Why didn't he give a shit at all about something that, you don't have to have a political science degree to understand this. He couldn't have believed that their social media bot farms were going to save him. You can still see your grocery bill. Fact is, that's what his donors paid for, and that's what he's going to do. Rich Lawton, wonderful guest. Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you, Rich, for always being here. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Mike Daly, the Dem, we really need fewer morons and more broader thinkers like Beyer, Congressman Beyer. There's no S on there. It's just Beyer, who could see the big picture, forge connections, and come up with solutions that will benefit everyone. Yeah, let's make government boring again. Yeah, let's make government boring again. Meanwhile, talking about boring, Susie Wiles, and she's no idiot, folks. She's no idiot at all. She's a very, 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 very smart woman. And you've got to wonder why this happened. What is the play behind this? Susie Wiles sat down with Vanity Fair and did an interview. And she didn't sit down with them once. She sat down with them like 11 or 12 times. And made statements like this. Said that Donald Trump has an alcoholic personality. Said that J.D. Vance is basically nothing but a conspiracy theorist. Pam Bondi just whiffed it with the Epstein files, and that Elon Musk is an avowed ketamine user with crazy ideas. She said it to a mic, folks. You know, she could sit there and claim, oh, well, it's a hit piece. It's a hit piece. And little Marco came out with this nonsense. You know, again, the dumbest of the dumb among us, we call them MAGA, are desperately looking for something out of this. They want somebody to tell them what to think. And of course, little Marco throws them a conspiracy theory. Says that Vanity Fair just wrote a hit piece that all of this was taken out of context, and we're going to get this straightened out. Well, they do have their members of the press that will carry their water. And Vanity Fair got a call from the New York Times saying, hey, we're told that what you quoted isn't what happened. You know what Vanity Fair's response was? Told you I missed you, Shannon. I appreciate you. I really do. I really do. You know what Vanity Fair's response to this was? Okay, let me play this tape for you. Oh, did you hear what she said there? Did you hear the context? Oh, well, here, let me play this tape for you. They have it all on tape. All of it. And Vanity Fair is willing to let any news outlet listen to them. So yeah, this isn't going anywhere. The question is why? Why would somebody as smart as Susie Wiles do this? Because she knew she was doing it. And I think my personal theory on this is a ripcord. She's pulling the ripcord. She knows. She knows the problems, the canyons the Trump regime have backed themselves into, have boxed themselves into. There's no way out of this easy. There just isn't. Because these problems, they don't go away anytime soon. You know, the Trump, you get JD Vance out there saying, well, things will be better next year. You watch, things are going to be better next year. No, they're not. No, they're not. Not unless you've come up with some magic solution between the economy keeps driving down oil production and you keep promising your people that you're going to keep lowering gas prices while you're actively trying to behind the scenes raise gas prices. Unless you figured out some way to magically cure bird flu, unless you figured out some way to magically just make cows appear and the beef shortage that we're dealing with, unless you figured out some way to magically fix the natural gas shortage that we're facing going forward, unless you've somehow magically figured out how to make data centers not demand all of the electricity that they demand without destroying what is the last leg of your economy, which is the tech economy, which they don't have answers for any of that. They don't. Unless you had answers for that. Yeah, stop measles outbreaks. It's one thing after another, after another, after another. This isn't going to be fixed soon. So they're going to need patsies. They're going to need people to go under the bus. And to me, that's what Susie Wiles is doing. She's hopped on the bus, she's fired it up, and she's warming up the engine. And her sitting down with Vanity Fair was just, her way of targeting the people that she wanted to target. Because you'll notice there isn't anything said about Tom Homan taking a $50,000 bribe in this Vanity Fair article. There's there's nothing about Stephen Miller. All that stuff that still excites their base. The bigotry still excites their base. You'll notice that nothing in that Vanity Fair article affects that faction at all. It only affects, I won't call them reasonable because they're not, the more pliable members of the administration. Because I'll be honest, Susie Wiles knows JD Vance is not the future. He's not. JD Vance in the fourth year of their term running for president is not going to help them at all. Jeff Schuler, survival instinct. She is covering her ass. It's not my fault. Yeah, she's just warming that bus up. That to me, that's what this is. They've picked the heads that are gonna roll so that they can try to come up with some sort of political reset in all of this, but they just have no fix for any of the problems. None whatsoever. And they just keep making it worse because they can't quit their Broligarch donors. I mean, this really happened, folks. This really happened. We had a healthcare worker shortage in this country. Not had, have. And the VA couldn't fill all of its positions that are needed to care for our veterans. So they just eliminated them. 35,000 positions gone. That's not going to help you with a veteran vote. K-Walk 230, please vote for Taylor Emmett on January 31st for Senate District 9 runoff. Benaloco, who will clean up the bodies after he orders our troops to take us out? Oh my God. Skeet Sayre, after World War II, Nazism was removed from Western Europe because the collaborators were given swastika tattoos on their forehead. They must pay for the evil. Somebody's been watching one of my favorite movies. Glenn Kaneko, she identified the Expendables. Exactly. Pam Bondi shouldn't be buying green bananas. She's out the door. She is out the door. And I'll tell you another one who's going to be out the door, but didn't get mentioned in the Vanity Fair article. That was Kash Patel. Susie Wiles likes Kash Patel because he'll do anything without question. It doesn't matter. She also, she didn't really talk much about, Dan Bongino either, but she's not going to be able to save those two. Sharon Butler, you and all the potheads are my anchor. Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. Meanwhile, you're just going to get more and more and more of this. These are the things that are happening. And it just kills me that I've got to go to Wisconsin Public Radio. Kudos to Wisconsin Public Radio for doing the work. But CNN should be running this. Reuters should be running this. AP should be running this. Bloomberg should be running this. Even Fox News should be running this. But, that's a laugh. They're never going to. But yeah, we've got several more of Trump's. And this also includes, by the way, Cheese Bro. Remember Cheese Bro? He's tied up in this. He managed to split his case off. But yeah, they're all going to trial. This is about 2020. And the felony forgeries that they committed with the fake slates of electors, that's just now going to trial in Wisconsin. This is insane. This should be what we're talking about. This should be what we're talking about. But you've got the corporate media out there that are willing to just, what do you want us to talk about today, boss? Oh, you want us to do a hit piece for you on Vanity Fair? Sure. We're glad to do that. We'll help you with your reboot. Shout out to National Public Radio and the state public radio systems that are in place that are actually still doing journalism. This is what we've got to do. This is what we've got to do. And I have avoided talking too much about this. I talked about what happened the day it happened, but I haven't speculated the why and the what for. But this bigotry is not free. It is not free. And I will bet you this Stetson hat that this guy is a white supremacist. They've got new images of the brown shooter out. See that multicolored coat he's wearing? They've released video of him walking around the Brown campus, kind of casing the place beforehand. And I'm just, I've watched those videos, and I hate to speculate. I really do, because you never know. You never know. But I just kept looking at this guy thinking, oh yeah, that's a white supremacist. That's a white supremacist. That you're going to find out that this is, I don't know what the story is behind this guy, but I am almost certain that we're going to find out that this has something to do with racism, something to do with the prior attacks where they've had swastikas carved into the walls in the same building at Brown. Yeah, I don't know. I've just got a sick feeling. Again, this is all speculation on my part. There's nothing to support it. And I will eat these words if I am wrong. I will sit in front of this camera and I will absolutely take it back, and I will make the correction. But I just sat and I invite you to do the same. It's all over social media. Just all you have to do is Google the Brown shooter videos, and it's there. This guy just looks like a stereotypical white supremacist. He does. He does. Anyways, that's what I've got for you today, folks. I know we didn't go quite as long as we wanted to. So if there's anything else you'd like to talk to, we've got time for a round table. It's your show as much as mine. Pavlin 01, let's keep NPR alive, people. It's under attack from the Trumpers. Yep. 100%. We're having to do it all ourselves now. See, they're facing a problem with J.D. Vance. And this is why I think Susie Wiles threw J.D. Vance under the bus. This is my take on this. ET, great comment here. If they're thinking to replace J.D. Vance, they will need to accelerate that before Trump pushes off. Whom will they bring forward to replace him? I don't have the answer to the second part. I don't know who they're going to get behind, but it'll be one guy and they will jump on board. But it's not J.D. Vance. They see and it's a problem for them because J.D. Vance is a whipped puppy. He absolutely will do whatever he's told. He is Peter Thiel's little dog. And he's shameless about it. He's absolutely shameless about it. So yeah, they're facing that situation where they're going to have to sour that milk and do it soon so that Peter Thiel has to give up on his boy. They have to make him an unacceptable option. And I think you're going to see more and more and more unflattering things coming out, not from Democratic circles, but Republican circles, like Susie Wiles' hit piece on him, talking about he's nothing but a conspiracy theorist. You're just going to hear more and more and more about that, because if he's an unacceptable option in Republican circles, that forces the oligarchs to just pick another horse. And again, like I say, right now that's a problem, because JD Vance is part of that whole Curtis Yarvin, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, the PayPal mafia, the South African PayPal mafia circle. I mean, hell, Peter Thiel bought him a senator's seat. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch. Alexa, order all the popcorn. This is going to get good. And did I set your Alexa off? I'm sorry if I did. I'm sorry if I did. But as far as who steps up, I'm not sure. If you'd asked me that question 6 months ago, I would have said it's going to be somebody like a John Cornyn or a John Thune, not at all. But the party's just been imploding on itself. You've got Ken Paxton that's stabbing John Cornyn as often as he can and as hard as he can. This is going to be a bloody primary here. It's already been a bloody primary here in Texas. Netadol, your energy system in the United States needs to be upgraded. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I mean, folks, I know it's a lot of dots, but the connection is clear. There just isn't enough electricity production. We need the renewable alternatives on top of what we already have, just because we are this digital economy now. I mean, we just don't have the electricity anymore, and you can't turn your back on renewables like this Trump administration has. This is why we've got to elect Democrats, folks. They're the only people that'll sit down and say, okay, damn, yeah, global warming is a problem. Climate change is a problem. But this is the number of power plants we have. This is the amount of electricity we're using. This is what it's going to look like in the future. So this is the schedule at which we can, phase in more and more renewable energy. And it's not as fast as we want, people. And then you get the people on social media that are the purists that are like, oh, you don't give a shit about the climate. I was like, no, we actually do. We just don't want your electric bill to be $1,500 a month, because that's where we're headed. I don't know. You want another prediction, folks, since we're in kind of a roundtable and we're just off the cuff talking? I think that the AI bubble bust is going to be way more massive than they're even anticipating, because the return on investment that companies have seen um, hasn't been from AI. It's been from layoffs, and they're not seeing the productivity gains out of AI to cover the layoffs. So they know they're going to have to hire people back in the future. So you're seeing companies that are just having a sobriety moment. They're just having a sobriety moment. The math's not mathing. And when you see companies like Samsung, who just a couple days ago announced their future business models are going to be geared 100% towards supporting AI. I think this crash is going to be far worse than anybody's anticipating. It's going to catch so many of these companies flat-footed. Silly Bebo. Exactly. Exactly. It'll make the dot-com bubble burst look tiny, teeny tiny. Yeah, this is not gonna be good, folks. I mean, this is not gonna be good. And it's driving your electric bills through the roof. Skeet Sayers 2018 says the AI bubble will burst because big companies are forgive me. Big companies are shedding workers. It is actually creating a depression in North America. I would say we're already in a recession, given these job numbers that we just had. Ukraine subsea baby is awesome on Russian subs. Yeah, Ollie, that is that is if you don't know the subsea baby, Ukraine. I told you they're brilliant people. They are brilliant people, and I mean, it's so resourceful. You saw the sea drones that they had that were the little black speedboat looking drones that were raising havoc. Yeah, you should see the subsea baby. That's their new underwater drone. Good luck with that one. Super quiet. It's like an AI submarine slash mine that is just absolutely raising hell. They've destroyed. I know of at least one Russian submarine. You're talking billions of dollars in Soviet or not Soviet, but Russian state hardware that just went up in smoke because of this new drone. Stephen, our boys, and this is why I love our audience. This is why I love you guys so much. I work in IT. AI is good for pattern recognition, medical diagnosis, and it can write you a story, but you can't ask a question that requires a factual response. It's wrong 70%, 75% of the time. Yeah, it has its uses, but it's not going to be this end all be all replace humans thing that they've been marketing. It's just not. It's just not. Garbage in, got garbage out. It's not thinking for itself. It's regurgitating data sets, and it's only as good as the data that goes in. Here, I'll get you a picture. Somebody asked about the Russian sub. One second. There you go. Ukraine hits Russian submarine with underwater drone.
Russian Kilo class submarine.
Uh-oh. Can't let that play. 1 second. I will get a for sure. I because I absolutely would be guilty of violating their copyright. 1 second. Let me pull that up and have the yeah. There you go. The Russians said that did no damage. Yeah. I I think it's called the Versisk is the name of the submarine. I'm not sure. They didn't have it in that article. I don't remember the name of which submarine, but you're talking about $1 billion in Russian state hardware that just went boom. I believe it's called the Versisk. If I'm probably killing that pronunciation. But yeah, it's hilarious to watch. We've got a video of the sub actually exploding, and was it the kilo class, Ollie? Ouch! That was not cheap. That was not cheap. Ouch. Um, yeah, you've got a video of the sub actually exploding, but then you turn around and the Russians are nothing happened. Didn't even scratch it. I, I just incredibly respect the Ukrainians and all they're doing. I really do. They 100%, and yeah, they the reason they are so hot and heavy. Somebody just posted that they're launching the Iskander missiles from the Kilo platform. Yeah, this is 100% why Ukraine is laser focused on these submarines. It is a very big deal. Big love for all our ride or die Dims. We appreciate everything you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is a very big deal because those Iskander missiles they are really, really difficult to intercept. They're doing a lot of damage inside Ukraine. Well, folks, that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed Congressman Beyer. Again, if y'all want to reach out to Congressman Crockett, I would love to have her on the show. Feel free to call in. Maybe y'all can convince her to come on. Maybe y'all can, let her know that she's got a friendly audience waiting for her with a friendly host. And we would love to see her. We would love to hear what she has to say and help promote her campaign any way that we can. Same for James Talarico. I've had more luck talking to the folks in the Talarico campaign. Help me out with Jasmine Crockett if you can. Heidi Gordon in the house, 1868. Two things. My new mugs arrived. I love them, and so does Frank. Thank you very much. And Shannon Dicely for Texas Senate District 1. Hey, I wanted to tell you, today is it, folks. If you're wanting to buy mugs, thank you, Heidi, for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying the mugs. I really am. If you're looking to get a mug, today is going to be it, folks. I can't promise you delivery past today. The post office won't promise it. I can't promise it. So, yeah, today is kind of it. Skeet here says, my dad worked on the F-22, F-15E, and IS International Space Station. He told me a Ukrainian worked with him. Yeah, the Ukrainians they are amazing people. They really are. The culture, if you, just historically, their history is incredible. But if you look at, especially if you study the Soviet Union, everything great that the Soviet Union ever did, anything that they got really right, yeah, that came out of Ukraine. It did. It just did. Moscow did not. Russia is not the country that everybody pretends it to be. It's just not. Well, folks, I love spending time with you. I really enjoyed this. Again, I do want to talk about, I want to end this with supporting your local Democrats. Yes, we want new blood in Congress. We do. Absolutely. But the old lions of Congress, like Congressman Beyer, they need your support too. They're the reason these wheels move so smoothly. They are the reason that you get things like, you're talking about changing people's lives. This discharge petition that they pushed through today, you're talking about changing people's lives in a real way. You've got, and I hate to say it, but it's mostly Republicans. It's your drunk uncle that is primarily buying their health care through the Obamacare exchanges. And here we have our Democrats that are making sure that they aren't bankrupted. And it's because we've got people like Congressman Beyer out there doing the work. I am super grateful to them. So let's keep working. Let's keep showing up, keep showing out, keep that momentum going. You know, the holidays are going to be over soon. We're going to be into that new year, and next year is an election year. It is an election year. We're less than a year out from the midterms, and the Republicans are desperate. And I'll give you an example. I had a lot of people get really upset. I want to end it with this. I had a lot of people get really upset because I pointed out that the Gaza bots have just gone incredibly active. Folks, that doesn't mean I don't support Palestine. I do. That doesn't mean I don't support the left in Israel and not support Netanyahu. You know my positions. I've staked out my positions. But there is a movement on social media to try to suppress the vote in the Democratic Party using Gaza. And the right wingers know it, and the bot farms know it. And you have people naive enough to believe that, oh, these people agree with me, therefore I'm smart. No, they're not even people. They're bots. They're bots. And it's testimony to know that the Republicans know just how bad a shape they're in, that they're already activating these Gaza bots. Can't do it this time, folks. We can't. There is no issue that prevents us from showing up. There's no blackmail issue. If you hear somebody say, if I don't get this or the Democrats don't that, they were never going to show up and vote anyways. They are a waste of time. If you can't look at this situation, I have supported the Palestinians' right to autonomy, and I still do. But I'm not going to sell my country down the road, helping bots suppress our vote when I'm trying to save our country. I'm just not going to do it. And they hate me for it. They really do. They hate me for it. But I'm not going to do it. I am going to vote Democrat 100%. There's no issue that's going to come up that's going to keep me from showing up. None whatsoever. So yeah, just block those bots. Just do it. Anybody out there trying to spread a message that says don't show up, don't vote Democrat, just block them. Get rid of them. They were never going to vote anyways. The only thing you're doing by blocking those accounts is stopping them from suppressing the vote. That's all. You're not preventing yourself from reaching somebody that might one day, be able to, because we're going to do what we're going to do after we get elected. Our values are going to shine through after we get elected, after we get power back in the midterms. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And Skeet's here. This is what I'm talking about, brother. This is what I'm talking about. That's like saying America is evil because of Trump. There is a vibrant left wing in Israel that is not Netanyahu. That's where I piss them off so bad, because I can't go down that road. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Israel is evil. I'm going to tell you the right wing in Israel is evil. You've seen me put their faces on your screen. Itamar Ben-Gvir, Bezalel Smotrich, Benjamin Netanyahu, all of these, you've seen me call them out over and over and over again. I'll agree with you. Those people are evil. They are. They are awful human beings. But there are folks on the left, and I've showed you them also. I don't want everybody condemning, especially you to our international audience. I get it. America looks like shit right now. We really do. We do not look like your friends. But no, the people in this audience, me, there are millions of us. We are actually the minority in this country. The majority in this country. We are not Trump. We're not a bunch of evil fuckers. We're not. We're not. Anyways, that's what I have for you folks. I appreciate you being here. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.